When divorce comes, most men think it's the end of everything. The papers are signed, things are divided, everyone goes their own way. And it seems like love is a thing of the past. But the truth is that nothing really ends like that. From one day to the next, divorce does not destroy the bond that existed. It just changes its form. And what happens to your ex-wife afterward may surprise you, maybe even more than you imagine. If you want to understand what really happens after love ends, and discover the other side that almost no one tells, subscribe now and like the video and watch until the end. The emptiness she pretends not to feel in the first few days after the divorce. She seems to be in control of everything. She posts smiling photos, writes phrases about freedom, changes her hair as if she were changing her life, and even joins the gym. From the outside, it looks like she's overcome it, that she's happy, light, and ready for a new beginning. But inside, what exists is a silence that is difficult to explain. It's like she's lost her footing, not because she still loves you the same way, but because she's suddenly no longer someone's wife. The role that gave meaning to part of her life disappeared. And even if she tries to convince herself that she is fine, her heart still searches for traces of what once existed. Sometimes she mentions you in random conversations, dreams about you without meaning to, misses little routines, the shared coffee, the automatic good night, the familiar touch of someone who knew even the silence between them. But she'll never admit it. Not to you, and maybe not even to herself. The curious thing is that this emptiness doesn't last forever. Because when it starts to hurt less, something new appears. And that's when the most dangerous phase of all begins, the rediscovery. And it is at this stage that many stories take unexpected turns. Have you ever been through this? Leave a comment. 2. The rediscovery phase after facing the silence. She begins to change. You want to rediscover the woman who existed before you, the one who laughed out loud, dreamed alone, and believed the world was full of possibilities. She starts dressing up again, goes out with her friends, talks to other men, and tries to feel the freedom she hasn't experienced in a long time. On social media, he appears confident, strong, even radiant, but inside, everything is still a whirlwind. The freedom she so desperately sought comes with guilt, doubt, and a kind of emptiness that no party can fill. She wants to believe that she is better off without you, that life is starting over, that she is finally cured, but the heart, stubborn, insists on remembering the good times, the laughter, the plans, the promises, and that's when something curious happens. She begins to confront her own loneliness. For the first time, there is no one left to blame, to call, or to care for. And this mirror of solitude reflects a truth that few men imagine, that even though she is free, she still misses something she lost and may never find again. But what comes after this discovery is even more revealing. 3. The mirror of loneliness. When night falls and the noise of the day finally falls silent, that's when it all begins. The silence that once seemed liberating now weighs heavily. Without realizing it, she starts to hear her own mind talking too loudly, remembering, questioning, comparing. Suddenly, the empty space beside the bed seems bigger than ever. She misses the presence that she once said bothered her. From the familiar sound of your voice, to the calming touch, to the small arguments that added color to the routine. It's strange, but human beings have this habit. They get used to chaos even when that chaos comes from someone they love. And while many men try to move on quickly, change focus, fill time, try to forget, many women get lost in this internal abyss. They try to show strength. They post smiles. They say they are fine. But inside, what they really want is peace, a kind of silence that doesn't hurt. And it is in this deep dive into solitude that something inside her begins to change. In a way that will never be the same again. Because what comes after this emptiness is the beginning of a transformation that neither of them expected. Have you ever felt lonely? And what made you get out of it? I want to know your opinion. The reconstruction of identity after falling and losing herself. She begins to get up slowly but surely. This time, not as someone's wife, but as a complete woman. She discovers that true love doesn't start with the other. It starts with her. Learn to say no without guilt, to respect your own time, to take care of your body, mind, and soul. The days take on a new rhythm. The mirror, which once reflected doubt and fatigue, now shows a woman who is being reborn. She truly smiles again, not to show strength, but because she finally feels at peace. And the most curious thing is that it is precisely at this moment of starting over that regret appears. Not hers, because it is now that many men realize what they have lost. The woman who once seemed tired and faded now shines with a light that no longer depends on anyone, and what once seemed guaranteed now becomes unattainable. You watch her from a distance and understand what was yours now belongs only to her. But the story doesn't end there, because there is one last phase, the coldest, and perhaps the most painful of all. Emotional closure. There comes a day when everything changes, silently. She wakes up and realizes that she no longer feels anger, nor longing. The heart, once full of memories, is now at peace. The pain became a memory, and the memory, a distant echo that no longer hurts. Old messages no longer cause anything. The songs that used to make her cry now go unnoticed. She no longer needs to prove strength, because she finally understands that true strength lies in letting go. What once destroyed her now only teaches her. And therein lies the irony. When a woman truly overcomes it, there is no apology, promise, or pretty speech that can make her come back, because she no longer wants what she once had to destroy to save herself. She looks forward, moves forward, and the past no longer has power. And it is at this very point that many men finally understand, too late, the value she had. When she stops feeling anything, that's when he begins, for the first time, to feel everything. But what happens to a man after that point is something few have the courage to face. The male awakening, once she's truly gone, not physically, but emotionally, the silence switches sides. Now he is the one who feels the emptiness. The house seems bigger, time passes more slowly, and every detail that previously went unnoticed begins to weigh heavily. The perfume that remained on the pillow, her glass still stored in the cupboard, the routine that once seemed tiring. Now it's a memory of a time that will never return. He begins to revisit simple moments. The way she laughed at something silly. The way she cared for him without asking for anything in return. The conversations that seemed to last forever. And that's when the penny drops. He realizes that the love didn't end when she left. It ended when he stopped caring. But what hurts the most is not her absence. It's realizing that she still exists, but not for him. The woman who once waited for him now lives another story, and the space he left empty was filled by her growth. And in this late awakening, he understands what many only realize when it is too late, that losing a woman who truly loved you isn't bad luck. It's a consequence. But there is one last chapter that few have the courage to face, one in which man needs to rebuild himself, alone. His rebirth after the fall, the silence and the regret. The time comes when he needs to face the mirror and see what is left. No excuses, no blame, just him and his own conscience. It is at this moment that many men understand that losing a woman is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater, the reunion with themselves. He begins to realize that the love he expected from her was actually the love he was missing inside. Learning that respect, presence, and affection are not weaknesses. They are forms of maturity, and little by little it is being rebuilt, not to prove anything to anyone, but to finally become the man he should have been all along. Now he understands. When a man loses a woman, but finds himself as a person, he has not failed. He has evolved, and that's the most beautiful part of all pain, turning regret into growth. What about you? Have you ever gone through a phase like this, where you had to lose yourself to find yourself again? Tell us in the comments what you learned from the end of a relationship. Your story may help another man avoid making the same mistake. Conclusion. The final silence. In the end, divorce isn't just a separation, it's a mirror. It reveals who was emotionally dependent and who knew how to walk alone. It shows who really loved and who just got used to the other's presence. It is at this moment that the masks fall and the truths appear without a filter. The cruelest thing of all is that many women only discover their own strength when they lose the love they thought defined them. And many men only understand the true value of love when they have already let it slip away. The silence that remains after the end is not empty, it is learning. And whoever has the courage to listen to it will never be the same again. But what comes next is even more revealing. In the next video, I'll show you why most men only learn the value of loyalty when it's too late.